Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we're off. We're running another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We welcome you to be a part of the program of the show this morning on a Tuesday morning.
0-2 pitch. Hard hit ball to right field. Acuna in line with it. He has got it. And the Braves win it 9-8 as they outlast the Mets in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Big win for the Braves. For the Mets in the ninth, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base.
The Atlanta Braves take Game 1 of their doubleheader with the Mets yesterday, like you heard there on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and the Braves Radio Network. They win it 9-8. They fall in Game 2, 5-3. So not a bad day for the Braves. You split with the Mets. Now you come back and you got a road game with the Marlins today. But the Atlanta Braves yesterday, 1 out of 2 against the Mets.
Yep, and they drilled Ronald Acuna in the first inning on an 0-2 pitch, which looked intentional to me, unless the pitcher has the worst command I've ever seen in my life, where he threw it up and in and hit him in the back. So if I were the Braves, I would be retaliating. I'd be drilling me somebody, but because there's no love lost between those jackasses and the Braves anyway. So
No. It's just going to add to some fire for the series for the remainder of the season.
Look, I know it was an 0-2 pitch, and everybody's like, "Oh, it was." Some of these idiots are like, "Well, it wasn't intentional." It looked intentional to me, especially when you throw up and in near the head and you drill the guy in the back. Well, it looked intentional, and of course, he had to be removed from the game, and. So, like I said, I Pete Alonso or somebody would be getting drilled, or Francisco Lindor. And if you end up in a brawl, you end up in a brawl, but you send a message that you're not going to be messed with, and you're getting sick and tired of
still
the crowd.
down.
And so, I've always hated the Mets. Just another reason to hate those guys. And I respect Buck Showalter as a manager, but he's been known to do that. And like I said, man, I wouldn't be if I were the Atlanta Braves, there would be some retaliation. I'd have Spencer Strider drill somebody with a 101-mile-an-hour fastball and see how they liked it.
Bringing the fire right out of the gates this morning. 256-576-4977. We go to the phone lines. It's been a while. It has been a while since we have heard from our good friend, but Grady the Greek with us this morning. Morning, bud.
Morning.
Morning, G. How are you?
Good.
What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say hi to you guys.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Been a little bit.
What are you doing now for the summer? I know baseball should be over as far as spring season. What are you doing now?
We're still going. We're still playing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
How are we doing?
We're doing okay. We're like six. I don't know. We're in like second place. I don't know.
Nice.
That's good. You having fun though?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we got to be getting ready. Are you gonna go watch UAH there in the conference tournament? You gonna be able to get down there and watch?
I might.
Nice.
I probably will.
Cool.
Okay.
Today I'm flying out to go to my robotic tournament for Worlds again.
That's right. This is big.
Where are we flying to?
Where's it going to be?
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas.
All right.
Be sure to tell the Texas fans that they got another beating coming.
Okay.
Well, good luck, Grady.
Good luck to you, brother.
Yeah. So, did we build a robot again? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What did we name the robot?
It's called the Oh my gosh. Thriller Junior.
Thriller Junior. Okay.
Nice. So what's the concept as far as when you guys built it? What does it do?
We have a arm that can extend and give us extra points.
Oh, okay.
We have a drum that it spins and shoots the disc out. Then we have another arm we ram into one of the blue towers because there are different colored towers and stuff. And we get the disc and then we can shoot.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
Wow. Well, good luck to you and your classmates.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, refresh my memory, Grady. When you guys did this last year, did you guys win? What ended up happening?
We almost made the finals. We were 1 point away.
Oh, wow. Well,
But it was fun.
Hopefully you won't be LeBron this year.
Hopefully not.
All right, bud. Well, good luck and safe travels, and get some good food while you're out there in Dallas.
All righty. Go Chargers.
Yes,
Go
sir.
Chargers.
Thanks, G. Appreciate it.
Grady the Greek.
We never built
robotics
robots,
competition.
man, back when I was in school. I mean, we had
Have
these
you-
little group projects and built panoramics and stuff, but we didn't do
Have you ever been to one of those robotic
I
competitions?
know, but I mean, I've seen them. I've heard about
I've
them.
been to a couple of them. So I've been down at Auburn while some of those were
yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever seen one, Bailey? They're intense.
Wow.
They are intense. Yeah.
I mean, they were 1 point away from the finals last year.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it is intense. It's a show. I mean, especially, like, if you get to the finals and everything, it's a huge show. The lights are all off. They've got spotlights on. I mean, it is quite a show.
I mean, what is it? Do you have to build a robot like ahead of time and then bring it there to?
Yeah, so you
complete it?
have your robotics team, and you guys spend your class spends whatever the year or whatever working on said robot, and there's different criterias to meet, and there's different like Grady was saying, there's more points you can get for doing different things. But you build this robot and you go there, and it's like a little course and everything, and you go through things and you try to make this robot do what you want it to do. It's quite the spectacle.
No doubt.
Unlike the Mets and Braves, which was
Well, it
quite
was a spectacle for another reason because they're a bunch of dirty,
Anyway.
lying scumbags.
256-576-4977. Be a part of the program. Be a part of the show this morning here in hour number 1. And coming up a little bit later, it was a fantastic day yesterday here locally. And if you know anything about Huntsville sports, the history of Huntsville sports, if you grew up in this town, you know the name Condridge Holloway. If you did not, if you are recent here, and there are a lot of people that are, Condridge Holloway is probably hands down the best athlete to ever come out of the city of Huntsville for everything that he did. Yesterday, Lee High School, and he's a Lee alum, they renamed their field house for him, Condridge Holloway.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it was a great moment over at Lee. They had the christening of it. Conridge was there in person. So was Ryan Renaud, a prominent member of the school board, and they had a lot of great folks over there, including Irvin McGuire. Irving's going to join us, head football coach at Lee, at the top of the second hour. But it was great. I mean, there's no question that it was well deserved. And Conridge was a guy that, I mean, he ended up playing professional football in the Canadian Football League. He was the first African American quarterback in SEC history. That's all well known. But what a lot of people probably don't know is it was probably his third best sport. He averaged 30 in basketball without a three-point line, and then he was a first-round draft choice of the Montreal Expos out of high school. So, and I want to say it was either 4th or 5th pick overall. So, and he chose to go to college, and his mother wanted him to play football and get his education. But wow, I mean, Conridge could have done pretty much anything. He ended up playing baseball, by the way, after his football eligibility was over. at Lee, and I believe his senior year, I want to say he hit 350. So he was just an unbelievable athlete. Really, we've had some great ones in the city, including Darian Stewart, who also was. They put up, they've got a now kind of a Hall of Honor. They put up a visual display of some of his accomplishments, but Conridge was just really on another level, and he was before my time. He graduated in 1972, but certainly if you've studied this history and the fabric of it. The late great Coach Jerry Dugan was a frequent guest on our show and caller, and he coached Conridge in basketball, and he was just an unbelievable talent.
All right, so that went on yesterday. So 256-576-4977. Be a part of the program. Be a part of the show on a Tuesday morning. Tell you what, let's get that first break in here real fast, because when we come back, we will flip the script. We got to get in some high school football. Got to get in some college football talk, plus an interesting development there in the state of Ohio as far as Alabama baseball betting goes. Interesting saga there. We'll fill everyone in when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
The Alabama Securities Commission regulates the investment industry in Alabama and protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. Fraudsters attempt to lure investors by offering high returns and attractive products like a coronavirus vaccine or cure, rebuilding communities after a storm, or gold, oil, and gas. You are careful with your money, but fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Call before giving your hard-earned money to anyone. Don't get caught in a get-rich-quick scheme. Learn more about the red flags of fraud and find free financial education material on our website at asc.alabama.gov. That's asc.alabama.gov, or call our investment hotline at 1-800-222-1253. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Good morning. Working to clear a wreck in Limestone County, Highway 99. Sounds like that one may be north of Elk River Mills. That one had an overturned vehicle. And we got Wall, Triana, and Blueberry. That's south of Nick Davis. That one's reporting as an injury type. Popeye Shrimp Tackle Box has 8 crispy Louisiana seasoned butterfly shrimp with a signature side and a buttermilk biscuit. It's only $6. Popeye's University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Dr. Rick here, with another telltale sign you're turning into your parents, getting particular about your drive-thru order.
Don't pull away yet. I like to check the bag because one time they forgot to give me extra ketchup.
People are waiting.
I'm only seeing 4 nuggets. Wait, nope, there's 5.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions, Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on iopservicesllc.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Welcome back, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And yesterday we were talking about Alabama quarterbacks that did not go into the transfer portal. LSU is in a similar situation, Drew. There was a lot of expectation or a lot of feeling that possibly Garrett Nussmeier would go in the transfer portal for LSU, especially with Jaden Daniels having a lock on being the number one quarterback there in Baton Rouge, but Garrett Nussmeier staying put in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and I think everybody that been following it closely expected him to stay. They had, I think, Brian Kelly and his staff had worked on it. Jaden Daniels he's going into his final season. He decided to come back at LSU, and once Garrett Nussmeier went through spring practice, and I think everybody, and when Jaden Daniels came back, I mean, there's no reason he should lose his job. I mean, he led the team to a double-digit win season and a huge bowl win over Purdue. They beat Alabama. They won the West. They lost by 20, but they scored 30 points on Georgia. I mean, if he was returning, he was returning to start. And so Garrett Nussmeier, it's rare these days, but he's going to wait his turn, and I think he's the leader in the clubhouse. It's really the reason Walker Howard left. That's where your attrition was. Jamie Howard's son, who was a former quarterback at LSU, left and went to Ole Miss to be the quarterback of the future, and very likely for Lane Kiffin. So again, once Walker Howard left, I didn't expect any other QBs to leave LSU, and Garrett Nussmeier is going to stay, and certainly he had some bright moments at LSU. He was a little bit up and down, turning the ball over some, but I think Brian Kelly and his staff, believe in him. So wasn't surprised there. A little bit surprised we didn't see any, portaling from Alabama's QB situation. They've got 5 on scholarship now, but eventually there is going to be some attrition. We will see. A guy like Jalen Milroe, if he didn't like the way things were going even early in the summer, he can still go to a junior college. He's a redshirt sophomore. You've got one more year of being able to do that. I think from what I understand, he's not going to graduate. I don't think he'll graduate this summer, but I think he would graduate in December. So if he didn't win the job, he could also have that option. Or he could, portal, during as fall camp gets underway, which is not ideal. But
right.
And then Ty Simpson can do the same thing. He could portal. Now, do I think that that Ty Buckner is going to be there just 3 months in portal? No, I think he followed Tommy Rees, and I think he thinks he has a legit shot to compete for the job. I would expect him to at least be at Alabama for a year at this point and come in there and compete for the job. But it's going to be a situation where really you very, 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 very rarely see a 3-way dance for a quarterback job. You can't get him enough reps. It's going to be a 2-horse race. And whichever horse falls behind first between Ty Simpson and Milroe, I think we'll move on. My pick would be Milroe because I think he's the rawest of the 3 as far as being able to throw the football effectively. He's the best athlete by far. He is the kind of athlete that could move to a slot receiver or a flex tight end and be a weapon. I mean, as soon as he would have to learn the route tree, and you'd have to, of course, see how he caught the football. But speed-wise and with his athleticism, it's already there. he'd be one of the top 2 or 3 fastest guys on the team, but I believe he wants to stay at the quarterback position. So that's the only other about, I guess, 1% chance is, Milroe switches positions, but as of this point, I see no indication of that happening.
So just because you go into the transfer portal doesn't mean you are going to have guaranteed success at your next stop. 24/7 Sports reminds us that, hey, some of these guys that went into the transfer portal last year or even the year before did not always work out well. Some of them, names that are very, very familiar to us. Keaton Slovis came from USC to Pitt, did not have a great run there with Pitt after transferring from USC. Remember Connor Bazelak?
Oh, yeah. I remember Connor.
Yep, went from Missouri to Indiana.
Yep.
And regressed, completed just 55% of his passes, 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions for Indiana. Digressed. How about this name for you? JT Daniels, Georgia to West Virginia. Yeah, he will be playing for his 4th school in Rice.
As we said, in front of a dog, a cat, and a raccoon.
They list some of these other big names. Jaleel Billingsley from Alabama to Texas.
Yeah, well, Billingsley's actually not even at Texas. They booted him. It's a shocker, I know, but they got rid of Jaleel worthless. He's now getting a free agent rookie camp tryout with the Tennessee Titans. As I told somebody, if he finishes the first day, I'll be shocked.
Are you shocked that it went so far downhill for him?
No, not at all. He's a turd. So,
Tyler Harrell from Louisville to Alabama.
He hasn't found another school yet. He had a pretty good career at Louisville. It was one of those things like Eli Ricks. I think he had trouble getting healthy. He had trouble learning the offense, and it's the old adage, you're not going to make the club in the tub.
Right.
And you come out, and he fell behind others, younger players or whatnot, that knew the offense, and he only got mop-up time. And he did graduate, from what I understand, from the University of Alabama. So I remember they asked him, after, as the Sugar Bowl was coming up, are you going to stay, or are you going to go into the transfer portal, are you going to move on? And he said, we'll just have to wait and see. And I took that to mean gone. And he certainly was after it was over. But I'll be honest, he never made one play of significance. So if you never make one play of significance, and Eli Ricks only had one game of significance, what did you do?
Well, Eli Ricks is in this list as well. They put Eli Ricks in this conversation as well, from LSU to Alabama, where the expectations were high for Eli Ricks.
They were.
And did not deliver on all those expectations, do you think?
He didn't deliver on any. So, I mean, if you look back, somebody even looked at it at the end of the NFL draft on Saturday. Todd McShay had Eli Ricks as he was headed to Alabama after being hurt a year at LSU because he was a freshman All-American, 2 years ago, which who cares by now. But he had him as a top 10 pick in the first round. But he went to Alabama and did absolutely nothing except for against Mississippi State. He did play well in that one game. At LSU, when they played in Baton Rouge, he could have made a difference. He played quite a bit. All he did was get penalties. So, and grab and hold and everything else. So the guy had one decent game in an Alabama uniform, and then thought he'd done enough and decided to go pro and overvalued himself and didn't get drafted. Personally, I wouldn't have touched him because he spent the entire time hurt, and then when he was on the field, he wasn't very productive. So, being at IMG Academy, being a 5-star, it doesn't matter now. I mean, you've got to go play. You've got to produce, and he didn't produce at Alabama very well. TJ Hushman Stupid on Twitter, who used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hushmanzada.
Yeah, TJ is over there blaming Nick Saban, saying Saban badmouthed him, and that's why he didn't get drafted. Hey, look, clown, he didn't get drafted because he couldn't get on the field. Okay?
And when he did, he wasn't productive.
He wasn't productive enough. He had a good freshman year at LSU, looked great, okay?
Right.
That's awesome. Had a really good high school career, great. He followed Ed Ogeron, had a connection with him since he was a young high school kid, and he went there. And he played well. It looked like he had a bright future. But then for 2 years, he did nothing. And the tape don't lie. So stop blaming other people for you're not producing. The kid had chances. He could have been a starter at Alabama. He couldn't get out of the training room. And then when he got out there, he didn't play at a high level. Terrion Arnold probably should have been playing even more than he did. I thought Terrion got some penalties, but Terrion was at least doing things the right way. It's the old Slade Boldenism. Well, why isn't so-and-so playing ahead of Slade Bolden? Why don't we see some of these receivers like Javon Baker and all these guys playing? You want to know why? Because they don't go to class, they don't practice the right way, they don't do things, they drop the football. That's why they're not in there, even if they are more talented than Slade Bolden. But Slade Bolden goes to class. Slade Bolden got 2 degrees. Slade Bolden caught the pass that iced the Georgia game. Nobody remembers that. All they want to talk about is, well, Javon Baker was a higher rated player and is faster than Slade Bolden. Well, who gives a damn, because he doesn't do things the right way. He's too out here dating women that are wrecking people's cars because they're psychos, and he's not going to class and doing other stupid ass stuff. And driving the coaches crazy because they're idiots. Because that's what they are.
Right.
There's a reason some of these guys are at 2 or 3 different schools. You know what I'm saying?
Well, another name.
They do it to themselves.
Another name, and you speak of wide receiver position, another name that they put on here is Ajay Hall.
Yep,
Did not
Ajay
live
Moron.
up to, goes into the transfer portal.
I don't even know where he is now. Nobody probably wants him because again, he was given every opportunity to compete at Alabama. And he tweets out a picture of Michael Jordan before the national championship game against Georgia, and it was more like Michael Johnson, or whoever. Sure as hell wasn't Michael Jordan. Michael Johnson was a friggin' track guy.
He was
a track guy. He didn't play football or basketball. But if you're going to tweet one of the greatest athletes of all time and act like you're some sleeping giant, let's just put it this way: there was no Kevin Norwood. Kevin Norwood came in for an injured for an injured guy, Marquise Mays, and had a great game and helped Alabama beat LSU. Well, This was no moment like that. Ajay Moron didn't know what routes to run, couldn't catch the ball half the time, and didn't make plays. Javon Baker didn't even get on the field. And then Jaleel Worthless, we all know what he did. He dropped the ball, didn't run the right route, couldn't block in the running game. All these guys got opportunities. It wasn't the coach's fault. Okay? They were given opportunities to do their jobs, and they didn't do it. And there's a reason they're not getting drafted, or they're in the transfer portal, or like with Jaleel Worthless, getting run off, from 2 different schools. Alabama, they let him go into the portal. They didn't care. And then, of course, Sark tried to get him at Texas, and within a year they told him to leave. Come on, man, you've got to be accountable.
Right.
That's the problem with this society today. Nobody wants to be accountable. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always the coach's fault. And that's what, TJ Houshmandzadeh's talking about. Of course, TJ Houshmandzadeh never won a Super Bowl. Wonder why. You know what I'm saying? Too busy blaming other people because he didn't get the ball enough, probably. Oh, remember the classic commercial? TJ House Mazzilli. There you go.
TJ what?
House Mazzilli.
House Mazzilli?
Yeah, they're having a fantasy football draft. Dude couldn't say it.
Oh. Okay.
And then he said, TJ, who's your mama?
Oh.
This is an ESPN commercial, man. I'm just saying.
I remember it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to look that one up. All right, we got to get a break in. When we come back, conversation continues. Draft numbers about national championships that all correlate to each other, and other stories. And your phone calls, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Tuesday afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, but temperatures are going to be well below where they should be in early May. Highs only climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the low and mid 40s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky once again for your Wednesday, but again, temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the mid 40s through the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. We're finally going to begin to climb a little bit, still below average, but at least we're climbing into the low 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on Wall Triana at Blueberry. That's south of Nick Davis. That one's reported with injuries. Had one on Highway 99 in Limestone County. Overturned vehicle there. That one may have had an injury. And we got horses in the roadway, 36 in Danville Road in Morgan County. Deputies are working on that one. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
Since 1998, Scooter's Coffee has delivered high-quality drinks with quick service and a big smile. And the folks at Scooter's Coffee know a great cup of coffee or other drink can bring a smile to just about anyone. Yes, we specialize in great coffee, but Scooters also has smoothies, teas, and delicious food items too. And this week, Scooters is our zone deal. Right now, get $50 worth of Scooters in Huntsville for just $25 online at 977ESPN.com.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have the state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's North Alabama Mortgage.
From the Alabama Crimson Tide to the Atlanta Braves, we are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And it's an interesting story coming out of the state of Ohio. And I saw this and I kind of had to glance over it a couple times because I didn't quite understand it immediately, but then I kind of read some more. The sports books in Ohio have taken off Alabama baseball off their sport books because of suspicious activity in regards to Alabama and its game against LSU last Friday, which led to the halting of bets. Apparently, the sports books in Ohio, Alabama had pulled their starting pitcher for Friday, and the Ohio sports books didn't catch it in time, and there were bets made around the game and stuff where LSU was a favorite, and I don't know, they didn't catch it in time. But anyway, the sports books in Ohio have pulled Alabama off their sports books for betting for baseball in a bizarre situation.
Never seen anything like it. Alabama lost the game. They lost 8-6. I don't see how it can involve Alabama players or coaches.
I don't think it's. I don't.
It just sounds like, of course, other rival fan bases like Tennessee, and with Tennessee accusing a team of point shaving is a joke. When you consider that they got Tony Vitello rolling the bats and putting substances on baseballs and doing every other thing to cheat last year, and it was well known throughout the SEC. So if any Tennessee fans listening, yes, it's the truth. Everybody knew that Tennessee was kind of skirting the rules a little bit, and they had a great baseball team. And they had a great run. They won the regular season. They won the tournament. But I think they were doing some stuff that kind of was a little sketchy. And so, but again, Alabama lost all 3 games. I don't see how you can – that seems totally weird to me.
Yeah, I
look,
don't
Alabama
know
doesn't have a
why.
great baseball program. Tennessee's baseball program is better. Alabama's down below in the bottom third of the league. We all know that. I think Brad Bohannon's a great guy. We've had him on this show. They played hard in that LSU series. They lost all 3 games very competitively, but I believe it only in according to what I read it was very brief and vague.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out.
It just said it had to do with the Friday game, and they lost it 8-6. They were down 8-1. They scored 5 runs, in the last inning and brought the winning run to the plate, but they didn't win. Colby Shelton struck out. They lost 8-6. I don't see how you can start inferring that Alabama was doing something like nefarious. How? I mean, I don't. Now, maybe somebody got tipped off that Luke Holman, who was supposed to start the game, that he had a bad back or something, and they tried to pounce. I don't know, but I don't see how you tie that into Alabama doing something nefarious. I mean, to me, just the whole thing seems fishy and like ambulance chasing if you're trying to tie Alabama baseball into it. I mean, maybe somebody got tipped off by a parent or something, like of a player, and then ran to maybe they're a degenerate gambler and they ran to try to put some money down on it. I don't know, but to me it sounds a lot like a bunch of ado about nothing. I don't think anybody at Alabama, players or coaches, should have anything said about them negatively besides, I mean, they didn't win the game and they didn't win a game in the series, but they played hard. I don't understand why it's a big deal. To me, it's just like totally, I mean, are you kidding me? I read it. I was like, when I saw the headline, I was like, what? And then I read it.
That's basically what I said when I was like, what?
I mean, that's just totally stupid. But, the way ESPN writes headlines and the way they run with this stuff, it starts trying to put a negative light on certain areas. And to me, I as I told somebody last night, what does this have to do with Alabama's players or coaches? That would be my only concern, would be them. If they had nothing to do with this, they can't control who runs and puts a bet on them or bets on a game.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not a player,
and it was only Ohio that pulled them off.
Yeah, and only Ohio. So just look, man. If there's no player or coach connected to this at Alabama, it's a non-story concerning Alabama, but they can throw Alabama up in the story because, we're not taking bets on Alabama baseball anymore. Well, okay, but I mean, again, Alabama's having a pretty good year, but it's not anything out of the ordinary. It's not how, Tony Vitello had improved Tennessee baseball, but all of a sudden last year they become one of the great regular season teams in history, but you can just call them the Boston Bruins because they both gone.
Another SEC baseball news yesterday. I don't think this is too surprising. Mississippi State fires its pitching coach, Scott Foxhall. Things not going so well for the Mississippi State baseball program this year.
Oh, it's been a struggle the last 2 years.
Yeah. They didn't make the conference tournament last year and had the worst team ERA in the SEC at 6.07. This year, they're 6-15 in conference play, and their ERA is even worse and remains at the bottom of the league at 6.62. So Mississippi State parting ways with their pitching coach.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. State takes baseball very seriously. They fully fund their program. Steve Robertson's been on this show many times, one of the great voices in our business. And as he says, they're a baseball school. They don't hide that fact. And, they're very proud of it, very proud of their tradition. And Foxhall, in his time at Mississippi State, they didn't get the results that they wanted. The last 2 years have not been good. There's a chance that they may not get to Hoover for the second straight year, which for them is that's just something you don't expect. And so not really surprised they're trying to get a spark right now. Halfway through, just past the halfway point of the conference season. Your regular season is really about 2/3 of the way over. This is the last third of it. But, they
only have a one-game edge over Missouri and Ole Miss. They're 6-15. Missouri and Ole Miss are both 5-16. Missouri and Ole Miss right now would be the two teams not going to Hoover for the SEC baseball tournament.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, and Ole Miss is the defending national champions as well, and they did win a series this weekend. Ole Miss took 2 out of 3 because they were 3-15 going into the weekend. Ole Miss was. It had just been catastrophic, but the Rebels got it going a little bit this weekend. But yeah, man, it's tough, but Alabama, they lost 8-6, 12-8, and 13-11 at LSU. I don't understand how you could be point shaving or something like that. I got a text from someone that says, well, could it be how do you point shave if you lose?
I don't think it was point shaving. I don't know. I think there was just a lot of questions about Alabama pulling its starter. And like I said, I think the sportsbook didn't react in time to the fact that when Alabama announced that their starter was not pitching on
nobody
Friday.
knew until maybe an hour before because he had been announced as the starter, and I didn't realize until I started following the game that he wasn't pitching because he'd been pitching the last several Fridays. But then you listen to the broadcast here on 97.7 The Dome. Chris Stewart and Roger Hoover do a great job, and they said that his back locked up and he wasn't able to pitch the whole weekend. There was some thought he might throw Sunday, but he did not, and so he was injured and didn't throw. So I would think that could have been part of the reason, and of course, if it is, then once again, it's ambulance chasing. And we just had somebody, tweet in and say, "Well, it was Ohio, so what do you expect?"
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
The state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm. OHIO.
Oh.
Yeah, and then like I said, you said it was the state of Ohio. It's not like it was Vegas or something.
Yeah, it wasn't like they've pulled Alabama off every sports book around the country. It was just in the state of Ohio that they have pulled Alabama baseball off the sports books.
Yeah,
which is weird though. That's why it's really strange, because it's not in Tennessee, it's not in other states where it's legal. It wouldn't be Alabama because it's not legal here.
And then we had another listener that texted, and he's probably right. He said sportsbook lost money and got pissed is what it amounts to.
That's what I think it is.
They
did not see the fact that
ESPN throws it up there and puts Alabama in there, and then of course then you can start intertwining Nate Oates into it, and and all this other stupidity these fan bases of rival schools do. Whatever. Tennessee calling somebody cheats is kind of a joke when you've employed Fatimus Maximus as your athletic director and your head football coach, and he's one of the biggest scumbags in the history of mankind. Suck on that.
We gotta get a break in. When we come back, phone lines are open to you. 256-576-4977. Gonna close hour 1 next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We're getting an accident reported on 565. It's going to be near exit 7. That's going to put it right about County Line Road on the eastbound side. They're checking for injuries now. Wall, Triana, and Blueberry, that's south of Nick Davis. That one reported injuries and had an overturned vehicle on Highway 99 in Limestone County. That one should be just about wrapped up. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652. 862-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Coach Nick Saban.
Helping children is very important to Miss Terry and me. As parents, it saddens us to know that there are more than 5,000 children in foster care in Alabama. These children need loving, nurturing families to care for them. We ask you to join the team and become champions for children by opening your heart, opening your home, and becoming a foster or adoptive parent.
For more information, call 1-866-4AL-KIDS. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
All right, 256-576-4977. Feel free to join us on the phone lines this morning. Talk transfer portal quarterbacks. We've talked some Atlanta Braves baseball, and then we just talked Alabama getting kicked off the sports books in Ohio for some reason that we don't know. I don't spend a lot of money. Heck, I don't spend hardly any money doing a lot of that stuff. So I'm not too familiar with a lot of it. So a lot of it I do not know and understand.
I just know I'll never live in Ohio.
Never?
Nope.
Okay. There's one state off the list. I'm sure Tennessee's the other one.
Yep.
The United Athletic Conference. Remember them? We told you that's the WAC and the ASUN Conference, trying to be a football-only conference. They applied for a waiver to the NCAA, and they got denied to be a football-only conference. However, don't read too much into that either, because there is a moratorium that'll expire on June 1st, and that is when they will reapply They felt like they were going to get denied anyway because they weren't taking any new bids right now for football-only conferences or single-sport conferences. They will reapply June 1st, so it does appear that North Alabama will hopefully be they will be able to get a playoff berth in the UAC, but they just got to wait a little bit longer for that. They're still going to play 6 conference games this year. They're still going to go through everything. But they're now basically June 1st is when they will reapply to be a member or for have the UAC be a single sport conference. So don't read too much into that if you're a North Alabama football fan. 256-576-4977. Want to hear from you on a Tuesday morning. It's only Tuesday. Feels like a Wednesday or a Thursday. NFL draft is in the books. What does the draft... So over the last... This is interesting. Football Scoop compiled all of this, and it was kind of interesting to see. They took the national champions from the last 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
And compiled how many draft picks from those national championship teams were off the board. It came off the board. And it doesn't mean that, as long as they came off at a certain point, not just that national championship year. Alabama's 2017 national championship team still leads college football with 39 draft picks. The 2017 Alabama National Championship team had 39 draft picks come off of it at one point. The 2015 Alabama National Championship team ended up with 34 draft picks. The 19 LSU team ended up with 32. The 2020 Alabama one ended up with 23. And the 2021 Georgia team had 25 draft picks come off of it. And that one they still could have more come off of that because there was guys that were on there. Same way with the 20 Alabama and the 19 LSU team. So interesting numbers there as far as draft picks.
More interesting numbers. Pete Golding couldn't stop the 2019 LSU offense to save his life. Kevin Steele slowed it down better than anybody. Good change for Alabama.
Brandon's with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning, Brandon.
Morning. I want to complain about what goes on at Bryant-Denny Stadium a little bit. Wonder why we can't have nice things. I sent Drew something yesterday. Aerosmith and the Black Crowes. Aerosmith's going to do their farewell tour, which is going to sell out like crazy.
Right.
And then just a couple weeks ago, even though he George Jones them, Morgan Wallen did a concert at Vaught Hemingway. Why can't we get big concerts on a Friday night before Alabama games with 100,000 seats? Why does our
I don't think Alabama wants to do that and put 100,000 people with what could happen at the stadium the night before a game.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could do it because of the field.
Yeah, you'd try to fill that because you're having to,
you would have
make
a game
all the
on
changes.
Saturday.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able
There'd be too much to do in 24 hours. Yeah.
Logistically.
Logistics. Yeah.
Logistically,
agreed.
Think of the safety personnel too that you would have to have. I don't think they could do it.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Oh man, if you get enough workers, you can do anything. I really wish they would do something like that because it would be great to have something really big to do like that on a Friday night, not to mention the money that they would make.
Plus,
I just look around and go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, plus, you have the weather factor. Like, what if the weather's bad? And
that's why Morgan Wallen did his, hopefully, or he was tentatively or scheduled to do his during the spring.
Yeah.
And Vaught Hemingway is turf. No, is it grass now? It's back to being grass, I think. It was grass, then it was turf, then it was grass, then it was turf.
I mean, regardless.
But it was in the spring, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Well, I've been kind of hoping they would do something on Fridays, give us something to, kind of lead into the weekend And, I see people doing this and doing these huge headline concerts. You just don't ever see any of them at Bryant-Denny, and I'm wondering why. I was like, why can't we have some stuff over there and have some nice things?
Here's something, and they're doing this in Nebraska, and Nebraska did it, and the tickets sold out in, I think, less than 24 hours. Nebraska's hosting a volleyball match inside their football stadium, and they've got 60 or 84,000 seats sold for this. What if Alabama, weather-wise, if they could do it in November when the weather would be good? What about playing a basketball game inside Bryant-Denny Stadium?
Never happened. Never. Because, down the stretch in November, you got big football games. You got Auburn. You got LSU. And you got Nick Saban's blood pressure. And there's just no way you're going to do it and risk messing up something in football. Nope.
Well, they could get out there and do something. You remember the Rock and Jock softball game?
Oh, yeah.
Where you could be down 7-1 and they bring out the magic 8-ball.
Yeah, there you go.
8 runs. They could do something that's fun. I see that stadium and it gets used for 6-7 football games a year, and then they do nothing with it for the rest of the year. So bringing something big, use it for something big. Let's have some 100,000. As bad as I hate to say it, if they brought Taylor Swift over there and had a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night show, they'd sell 300,000 tickets.
They would,
took people down to that concert this past weekend. It was insane.
Yeah, it was. I saw the parking prices and everything else. I just don't think it'll ever happen because each year Alabama does this every year after the spring game. They always replace the grass, and so it's rite of passage. The grass is removed and then they roll out new turf. So and that's expensive. And so I just don't, with Alabama being a grass field, it's what Scott's saying. Logistically, I don't see them, putting it through that. That's a headache, man. I just don't, and that's why they won't even do it in the spring. If they were going to do it, it would be in the spring before they took the turf up, the grass up. But I just don't see it. I think Alabama in the past, Brandon, from what I understand, back in the day when Coleman Coliseum first opened in the 60s and the 70s, I think they had some concerts over there. But
they used to have boxing matches all the time in there, too.
The only concert I ever remember at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I was there,
right?
It was the 1992 Centennial Celebration, and, of course, the group Alabama played. That's the only one I ever remember. And I was in high school at the time with my parents and everything. But, yeah, Alabama played a concert, but that was it. That's the only.
I'm surprised they tear the field up every year, though. You figure you would want to leave that grass and it get really deeply rooted and treated so that it's really set in. So I guess that's.
I just can't remember
they tore it up every year.
In the last several years, it not happening. It always seems to happen where they roll out new turf, man. So.
Yeah. Well, at one point, the air circulation inside Bryant-Denny wasn't great because of the way the stadium is and how built that the air doesn't circulate very well down low. All right, Brandon, thanks for the phone call there. Interesting. A lot of schools are doing something different in their football stadiums to, Nebraska's doing volleyball. Iowa did a wrestling match one time inside the football. Yeah. Hockey has been played in several of the college football stadiums across the country. So, anyway, that's how we conclude hour number 1 here on Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Going to kick off hour number 2 literally in 2 minutes. And when we do, Irving McGuire will talk about the Condredge Holloway dedication ceremony coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
So Some movement among 2023 NBA championship odds. The Celtics are still the favorite at plus 225, but now Golden State, Phoenix, and Philadelphia right behind them at plus 550. Denver now a 650 bet, while LA is an $1,100 bet to win the whole thing. Last night, Game 1, Sixers and Celtics. Philadelphia paying plus 415. They were a 10-point underdog. The over is 234. Denver beat Phoenix 97-87. The Suns were favored by 4. The under 184. Stanley Cup playoffs last night. The Devils beat the Rangers 4-0 in Game 7. New Jersey advances to face Carolina. Toronto, the current favorite to win the Stanley Cup, plus 380.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Timeout was brief. It is hour number 2, officially. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you for 60 more minutes here on a Tuesday morning. Welcome back into the program. In hour number 1, right out of the show, we were talking about a special dedication yesterday over at Lee High School, and we were kind of letting everyone know, if you're new to the area, Conridge Holloway, perhaps the best high school athlete to come out of the Rocket City, the Huntsville area itself. What he did in the college level, the CFL level, speaks for itself, but what he did locally, high school-wise, man, worth the price of admission.
No question. I mean, again, he was before my time, but, I've heard all the stories about Conridge Holloway. Haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, but certainly, I saw the special on ESPN about him, and I've researched him and talked to many people that have been around him, including my father who watched him play. And he was just an amazing athlete, had been an amazing representative for our community and our state. And he's done a great job as an associate athletic director since his playing days at Tennessee. No question about that. And he's, the term legend can be overused, but it's not in his case. He certainly had a huge impact on everyone, and his family has. And it was a great day, an historical day, over at Lee High School for our Huntsville City school system yesterday. And they're now going into his third season, head football coach Irving McGuire, who, of course, as we know, his prep days were spent playing for Harold Wells at Johnson High School. Now he's back coaching Lee, was there along with Tony Woods and a lot of great dignitaries, including Conridge Holloway, for this groundbreaking, so to speak, is this dedication. And now Coach McGuire is with us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, good morning. You were through, and Scott, how are you?
Good morning. How's everything going, guys?
It's going good, man.
There, Coach. What a day yesterday. What a day.
Definitely. It was a great occasion. We had a lot of people out, the kids, the band, the cheerleaders. It just was a great event to pay respects to a great man.
Yeah, and I know I haven't had a chance to be around Conridge. I know you have, and he's very proud of his history and being a Lee general. But for our listeners, kind of walk us back through the process of when it was decided to build this facility and how this all came to be, and deciding to name it after such a great dignitary and athlete like Conridge Holloway.
Oh, okay. So when the new school was built a number of years ago, they placed a great athletic facility that had great structure there in the place of the original building where the gym was. Mm-hmm. And when I got hired on, Principal Woods, one of his deeds that he said he was going to do before he got out, he was going to make sure he got that named after Mr. Holloway. And we've been doing some tremendous things to work and build that thing up to, properly represent him. So I've been here for going into my third year, and the first 2 years are really about making that place a place that is really welcoming and it exudes what Mr. Holloway stands for. So, we got a lot of things going on, and it looks great right now, but we're still building. And, if it felt like the perfect time to have him down and get it renamed after him.
Yeah, and for people that have lived here in the Rocket City, those that grew up, they know Condridge Holloway. They know what he accomplished. There's kids in high school, though, that need to be educated sometimes and understand what Condridge Holloway did, not only on the court, on the field, wherever he was, but off as well. When you educate the kids of today, what do you tell them about Condridge Holloway?
Well, he was a trailblazer. He was the first African-American quarterback to start in the SEC, which is big. And, we had 3 African-American quarterbacks drafted in the first round, and he kind of paved the way for that, especially down here in the South. Mr. Holloway got in, and he had to compete and showed our kids the resiliency that you need to have in a time where, it was rough for him. It wasn't just, go out, play, and you get NIL deals. He had to really work, and, the academic portion of it, the athletics, the social injustices that were going on. We just try to get our kids to understand that, life is tough, and, you have the prowess to fight and be resilient through all of those. So, we tell them about the academics. We tell them about the athletics, which were extraordinary. The fact that he was an All-American baseball player. The fact that he was being recruited by the likes of UCLA at one point for basketball. Those type of things they need to know that, that's in their grasp coming from Lee High School.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I was saying, Coach, in hour one. The thing about Condridge, and I never had the privilege of watching him compete at Lee High School, but we had Jerry Dugan on our show many times as a caller and guest, and he's a great historian, and he averaged about 30 for Coach Dugan, no three-point line, and then and the thing, like I was saying, is as great an athlete and quarterback as he was, that was probably his third best sport in high school. When you think about baseball, because he was, I think, the top 5 pick by Montreal coming out of high school, and that still hasn't been equaled in our city. I mean, I know the draft was different in those days, but that's still amazing. And, his mother wanted him to, go to college, but it's still crazy. And then, Jerry, before Coach passed, he's the one that told us that, by the way, Condridge ended up playing at baseball at Tennessee after football was done, and he hit 350. And, and he hadn't even been playing baseball. So that's enough for me to know how good an athlete Condridge Holloway was.
Yeah, and he's just such a soft-spoken man.
Yeah.
He was telling us yesterday, that baseball was probably his best sport, being a first-round draft pick from this area. And he says one of his favorite things to still do is to scout baseball players. So, that was great to hear from him. It was great to sit down and talk with him about things like that.
Oh, it really is. I mean, that would be something. That would probably be my favorite part of the whole deal. I mean, having him there to see that. I mean, what were his range of emotions? Because I know you had a chance to talk with him. I mean, certainly it's very humbling to be named to a Hall of Fame, to be known as a trailblazer, but to have your name on something, going forward. That had to be a great experience for him.
Definitely. Like you guys said, he had such great pride for Lee High School and the school he had come from in the Huntsville area. Once it came down and we presented him with a few Lee gifts, if he probably hadn't had some new Lee gear in a while. So, it actually brought tears to his eyes. So that was a beautiful thing to watch, just for him to be overcome with emotions, to have his wife there. She was, very supportive, and it was a great experience. For me as a head coach and for just being a part of the community, it was great to see.
Yeah, it's kind of long overdue, though, too, at the same time.
Definitely long overdue. But I know for a fact, me and Mr. Wood had to make sure it was up to the Holloway standard before you just don't want to just throw nobody's name on a building and then it's not up to par. So it's moving in a great direction for that whole complex to be named after Mr. Holloway.
And then for the listeners, too, I know you've done a lot of work. I saw the Hall of Honor you guys are kind of putting together for Darian and some of the other great athletes that have come through Lee and, of course, played on the professional level. Darian, being a Super Bowl champion and having a great career in his own right, athletically in the National Football League. But talk about all the work you guys have done to the facility since it opened. What all improvements have gone on?
Well, since we've opened it up, as you walk in, we cleared out that hallway. We put a great display case up for all our guys who play professionally. We have a few uniforms. Lee has the most NFL players in the city. So as in totality, we've had 12 since the building opened, and we still currently have 2 that are doing good. So we just made sure that we paid them homage, start coating the walls in the next few months, hopefully, to really, really, really show these guys appreciate them. And as you walk in, we've pulled out some of the older racks that we donated, I guess, before I even came. We got about 8 to 10 new racks that line it. A great new turf field, about stars, a lot of skill development, a lot of, tight work. And it's added painting. We have culture. We're building trying to build a true program over here at Lehigh. One, he's my tenure there, and, hold steadfast for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, talk about it too, Coach. What's next? Are you doing spring and at practice, or are you guys going to wait till July to get cranked in your third year?
Yes, we abandoned the traditional way of spring. We want to get our numbers up, and we definitely want that extra week in the beginning of the year to get started and get prepped. Since everything starts so early, we kind of need that extra week then to actually hone in on our skills before we welcome in Tuscaloosa County, who will be bringing one of the top running backs in the state and in the country.
Yeah, Kevin Riley. He's heard good things about him. I know you guys have already been watching film. I know Coach Weingarten has done a good job over there, and you have a history there that's one of the places that you coached before coming to Lee.
Yeah, definitely. Kevin had all the tools coming in as a freshman, and we knew he was going to be a great talent. Replacing a guy like Damian Taylor that went to Troy, we knew probably exceed what Damian did, and he's been proving us right.
Yeah, no question. And then I guess not just football-wise, but what did it mean to the entirety of the school? And then there's a lot of great tradition. Greg Brown's, won 3 state titles at Lee in his tenure there. He is a Lee alum. So there's a lot of pride in putting on those colors. But what did it mean to the school as a whole?
It just was a great opportunity to recognize a legend in our community. Coach Brown was there as well. It just, it gives the kids a sense of pride. It's always good when the kids can have a physical representation of, the legends that they've talked about. A lot of times you hear all the good things that people have done, but when you see them come back and really are present and work with you, it gives them that sense of pride, because we have Kobe Brown come back and work out.
Yeah.
Malik Langham, those guys, Humphrey, those guys that are just now being removed from Lee. They're a great representation, and we try to keep those guys around as much as we possibly can to build and keep that pride that Lee has always been known for.
Yeah, we really have. We haven't. And don't forget, Malik has had a nice run. He went to Florida, transferred to Vandy Scott, but he's on his way to Purdue for his last year. So he'll be competing in the Big Ten.
Definitely. Malik is a great representation. He's on that academic and getting everything, and now he's going to do his best on his last year to try to make those NFL dreams come true.
Yeah, no doubt. If you got something on the wall, if you get a degree from Vanderbilt, that's a huge deal. Great job out of him, and great job out of Lee High School. And Coach, good luck to your guys in the fall. They'll be getting cranked up in July before taking on Tuscaloosa County. It was a great day at Lee yesterday with Conrad Holloway coming back to his alma mater. What a great man and a great representative of our city and our community. But we congratulate you and Coach Woods. I've known Coach Woods for a long time, and he's always been good to us as well. Congratulations to everybody at Lee and the administration, and it was a great day, and we appreciate the time this morning.
I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Thanks. Great stuff there. And Conrad Holloway, Lee High School. I mean, that's
synonymous.
Yeah, great honor there. Great honor. I got to get a break in. 256-576-4977. You can give us a call. Phone line's back open to you.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck eastbound on Governors just west of the Parkway, reporting with injuries. University westbound at Research Park is apparently a no injury. 565 eastbound near mile marker 7. That's been slowing traffic down. I don't think anybody ended up being hurt there. Wall, Triana, and Blueberry had an injury. That's south of Nick Davis. And they had an overturned vehicle on Highway 99 in Limestone County. That one was near Dawson-Dupree Road. Popeye Shrimp Tackle Box has 8 crispy Louisiana seasoned butterfly shrimp with a signature side and a buttermilk biscuit. It's only $6. Popeye's University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
I'm Olympic gold medalist Rowdy Gaines, and I'm recommending you register for the 40th Annual Alabama State Games, happening June 9th through June 11th in Birmingham. Athletes of all ages and abilities will participate in any of the 25 team or individual sports. Registered athletes have the opportunity to win up to $4,000 in academic scholarships to add to the over $335,000 already awarded. Registered at alagames.com. That's ALAGAMES.com.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
When the biggest names in aerospace, financial services, and electronics needed office and manufacturing space in Huntsville, they called Samples Properties, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. When Huntsville first began to grow, so did Samples Properties. You can trust your business to Samples Properties and their deep knowledge of the commercial real estate market in Huntsville and Madison. When you're in the market for commercial real estate and you need a partner who knows how to make your plans come together, Samples Properties can guide you through all the legal, financial, and regulatory hurdles. And if you just need office space to start or grow your business, Samples Properties is the call you need to make. Go to samplesproperties.com to see the impressive list of clients that have profited from the knowledge and integrity of Samples Properties. For commercial real estate development and consultation, trust your business to Samples Properties, with offices on Madison Street in downtown Huntsville. Samplesproperties.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
All right, 256-576-4977. Feel free to give us a call on the phone lines on a Tuesday. That's where we start coming out of break. Jeremy's with us this morning. Good morning, Jeremy. What's up?
What's up, guys? Have y'all ever been to one of my shows? Because that's the song I play. That's the intro to when I walk out on stage to play.
Oh, nice.
I did not.
That's all. What a coincidence.
There you go.
Well, similar to music, speaking of music, I just wanted to touch back on a couple of things on the gentleman that called before the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Last hour. So, number one, Tuscaloosa's got an amphitheater.
Yeah, they do now. Yep, that's right. Yep.
It's got a strip full of places that have music every Friday night before games.
Right.
So they don't need to do anything at the stadium. They've got plenty going on in Tuscaloosa. And, I don't know if he's a bandwagon fan or if he's been watching Alabama for a long time, but Nick Saban worries more about football than they do having entertainment for them.
Yeah, well, that's what I that was when I mentioned Nick Saban's blood pressure. I was like, it's not something he needs to have to deal with.
That's an ordeal, man. I've been through it. I'm dealing. I worked for a company out of Memphis a few years ago, and we did Frankie Beverly and Mays during the Alabama Classic. And, that was Legion Field at the time. Legion Field, it was still that artificial grassy stuff.
Right, the field turf.
Yeah, field turf, yeah.
Yeah. And so in order to get the game ended, we had to get a stage out in the end zone and have to deal with the band coming off the field, had to deal with the cheerleaders coming off the field, both football teams, news media, everything. But we had to lay down plywood all the way out to the 20 just to get the stage in the end zone.
Wow.
Because, and that's on artificial.
Yeah,
that's not
so it'd be
even
a pain.
grass.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I mean, the horror stories that you've heard of in NFL stadiums where these concerts come in and they just it's not intentional, but they just tear up the grass. One, because fans being on the field, and two, because of everything that they do to set up.
I watched a interview in I can't ever say his name. He played for New England. Amendola, or however you say his name. I horrible pronunciation stuff.
Yeah.
But I watched an interview with him one time, and they asked him what his least favorite thing at the Super Bowl was, and he said going out in the second half after the halftime show.
Yeah, because that's a lot of work.
He said because the field just changed.
Yeah, Danny Amendola. Yeah. Yeah.
He said it just changed after that because they're putting all that stuff out there. In order to do that, there's stuff that has to go down into the ground. You can't just set a stage full of stuff. It'll tip to a certain side, stuff sliding off and everything. You have to put stuff down to level it. You have to do all kinds of stuff. And I mean, even if that big of a budget, it's still the same. You know what I mean? It's not no different than what we did in Birmingham a few years ago. So it's a whole different beast. Some places can do it, some can't. And the ones that do it, if you look at their program history and you look at their the things where their stadium is located and stuff like that, that's a lot of reason why a lot of places have it, because I've noticed a lot of schools that have the stadium on campus don't have a lot of stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, Devontae Wilder wanted to fight.
That's right.
Wanted his fights to be in Bryant Denny, and they turned him down.
That's right. That's a good point.
And just think about that. That was a big time thing for Alabama, was having the
heavyweight champion
championship match, the heavyweight champion wanting to fight in your stadium, and he ended up going to Birmingham. Well, that says a lot. That says how much they care and how much they want to keep that place, playable.
Agreed. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for the phone call.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Floyd real fast. Good morning, Floyd.
What's up, Floyd?
How we doing, guys?
Good.
I know I'm quite a bit older than a lot of your listeners, but I can remember the day they had homecoming concerts there, but they had them in Coleman, and I've actually seen Lionel Richie and Sheila E. in Coleman Coliseum back in the day. But that's not comparing apples to apples. I had a question, and I believe me, I'm not whining as an Alabama fan,
right?
But I just had a question. The Georgia's softest Charmin schedule coming up next year, and how the SEC stepped in and canceled their game with Oklahoma. The only varsity team that they're playing. But why didn't they step in and cancel the second game of the Alabama-Texas?
That's a great question. I couldn't tell you, Floyd. I mean, I knew they canceled it, but I just will say this. I wouldn't like Oklahoma's chances. I don't think this is not even Lincoln Charman's Oklahoma. Brent Venables is trying to rebuild that program. I think they went 7-5 last year or something like that, and Texas beat them. I don't even know. Was it 47-0? It was a beat down. So I don't even know if they could challenge Georgia. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know what was behind the SEC's thinking and allowing Alabama and Texas to play, but not, Georgia and Oklahoma.
Yeah. I just happened to think about that, and I was like, wow.
I think because the Texas series will be done this year, right?
Yeah, it's done, yeah.
It's done. The Oklahoma-Georgia series was supposed to go until 2025.
Oh, okay.
So it was 2023 and 2025.
Probably
so it would have
skipping
been
a year, yeah.
The second game would have been in the window where they would have been joining the league.
Because they're trying to set the schedule up.
And so the schedule now has Oklahoma joining the league in 2024. That's why everybody thought they were going to join a year earlier, because when they canceled this series, that's why. Texas and Alabama will be done with. That series will be 2023 will be the first game. 2025 would have been the second game. So they skipped a year. That's probably why they had to cancel it.
Okay. All right. I just something that crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Floyd. Appreciate it.
Well, and Floyd brings up Georgia's 2023 football schedule. Yeah. This is what that schedule looks like now for Georgia in 2023. They start off by hosting UT Martin. Then they play Ball State at home. Then they get South Carolina at home. Then they get UAB at home. And then their first road game comes September 30th at Auburn. And then they're back at home for Kentucky. And then they're on the road at Nashville for Vanderbilt. And then in Jacksonville, then they get the Florida game in Jacksonville in October, end of October. November doesn't get much worse. They're at home against Missouri. They're at home against Ole Miss. They travel to Knoxville and Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So that is Georgia's 2023 schedule for this year. I don't think it takes a genius to figure out that Georgia will be favored to win the East.
No, they will be. Tennessee will be a close second. There'll be a lot of people jumping on the Tennessee bandwagon, seeing if they can put together 2 straight years. But I think that Georgia will be a big favorite, and Tennessee will be number 2. And we'll see how the rest plays out. There may be some people jumping on South Kakalaki because of how they finished the regular season last year. They didn't win the bowl game, but certainly they defeated Clemson and upset Tennessee. So they've got Spencer Overrated back. So there'll be a lot of people thinking that South Carolina will be a pretty good football team.
And your road games for Georgia: Knoxville, Georgia Tech, Vandy, and Auburn. That's the road contest. The Vanderbilt game will be a home game because
it wouldn't
Georgia
matter
fans.
If they played Vanderbilt wherever. This ain't Kirby's first year, so Kirby lost to him his first season, and people remember that. But no,
Georgia Tech is a mess.
Cunningham is long gone.
We assume they'll be better, Georgia Tech, but they're still a mess. Knoxville will be the tough one. That'll be one that Tennessee fans will have circled. All right, 8:27. Let's get a break in. When we come back, I'll talk some Auburn baseball, softball, football. We'll talk everything.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Tuesday afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, but temperatures are going to be well below where they should be in early May. Highs only climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the low and mid 40s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky once again for your Wednesday, but again, temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the mid 40s through the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. We're finally going to begin to climb a little bit, still below average, but at least we're climbing into the low 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had a wreck at Governor's in the Parkway, actually just west of the Parkway, that had an injury involved. That one is causing quite a bit of problem. Still trying to get it all untangled. University westbound at Research Park should be moving quickly. It was a no injury. 565 near mile marker 7, that's just before county line. That one was causing big eastbound problems. Wall, Triana, and Blueberry, that's south of Nick Davis, had an injury. And Highway 99 near Darwin Dupree in Limestone County County had an injury and a partially overturned vehicle. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Guys, music can inspire us. Let the concert quality sound system at Zoom Indoor Cycling help push you harder than you ever thought possible. No matter if you're a beginner or an experienced rider, you'll ride top-of-the-line Stages SC3 bikes as the most talented instructors in North Alabama motivate you to reach your goals.
You can do it!
Zone Indoor Cycling is this week's Zone deal. Get a $100 certificate for just $50. Get yours now at 977ESPN.com. $2 specialty shoe rental per ride for new riders.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you, hanging out. Great conversation all morning long. But now we are going to turn our attention to Auburn baseball, a little Auburn football conversation, even some softball, because the Auburn baseball team went on the road. RPI-wise, South Carolina was number 1. Now, LSU's number 1 in the country poll-wise, but RPI-wise, South Carolina was number 1. Auburn faced an uphill battle. They took 2 out of 3 from the Gamecocks. Could have had 3 out of 3. Could have made it a sweep. But now the road does not get any easier. They've got the top-ranked team in the polls now, LSU, this weekend.
No question about it. I mean, just a huge series last weekend on the road for Auburn to start getting things turned around and get things rolling as postseason is going to be upon us in just a few weeks. And it reminds me of what the team did a year ago, even though this has been a little bit rougher patch because of the injuries to the pitching staff and things of that nature. But it says a lot about the fabric of the program. And I mean, this South Carolina team has been playing at such a high level, but Auburn very nearly sweeps them in South Carolina. And I believe going in, I think they lost 1 home game all year. So it was a heck of a series for Auburn, a heck of a Friday and Saturday. And Sunday they led for much of the game before falling 8-7. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some transfer portal situations maybe brewing for football with our next guest, who since 2001 has covered the Auburn beat. He's part of the Rivals site, auburnsports.com. Of course, we'd be talking about Brian Matthews, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Brian, good morning. You're in Huntsville with Drew and Scott.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. It was a really good weekend for the baseball team. A little bit unexpected, but much needed, I think.
Oh, no question. I mean, when you win 8-3 on Friday against Will Sanders, and then you win the game on Saturday 9-5, and then you take them down to the last out on Sunday, that's not something I was expecting. Now, Auburn getting a game, but having a chance to sweep, that's got to put a whole different taste in their mouths with LSU coming to town.
No doubt. I think this team is much more confident than it was a couple weeks ago. You know, being able to take 2 out of 3 against Mississippi State and then going up to South Carolina and taking 2 out of 3 and really nearly pulling off the sweep. They lost 9-8 Sunday, led for most of that game until South Carolina got that 3-run bomb kind of late there, and Auburn sort of ran out of pitching there at the end, which has been part of their issue this season, but certainly there where they've gotten better at, especially a guy like Tommy Vale on Friday night who's pitching really, really well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what were the little keys then? I mean, obviously, you've been on all year, and you've talked about the pitching, and you've talked about other things. What were just those little things that went right in South Carolina?
Well, I think one thing that's really helped Auburn the last several weeks is Tommy Vale and Christian Herboholt, the Friday and Saturday starters. You know, they haven't been going 7-8 innings, right, but they've been getting Auburn 4 to 5 innings, and getting through those innings often, you know, only giving up a run or no runs, or you know, getting Auburn to that point in the game where they still got a great chance to win it or they're ahead. Against South Carolina, Auburn scored 9 runs in the first inning total in 3 games. So they came out swinging the bats, and that really, you know, got them rolling offensively. So I thought that was really big. And, you know, maybe one of the most surprising things going into the South Carolina series, South Carolina, I think, led the nation in home runs. Or no, was second in the country in home runs. And Auburn hit 10 home runs there, too. So they were really, you know, swinging the bats pretty well in that series, which is something you kind of expect from this lineup. You know, it's a good lineup. And then, you know, Nate LaRue down there at the bottom lineup has had a tough start. Well, really tough season, but he's finally coming on. He hit 2 home runs in that series, has 3 home runs in the last 6 or 7 days. So, that bat at the bottom lineup is certainly a plus for this team.
Yeah, no question about it. And interesting, you know, and now LSU comes to town. Alabama played them tough, but scored runs, but just could not hold them bullpen-wise, and had some starting pitchers out. But LSU is just supremely talented. We know about their Friday night guy, Paul Skeens, too, but now they've struggled a little bit after that, pitching-wise. But so if Auburn can get into the bullpen, they've got. I think they got to believe they've got a chance to at least take one game in this series. But certainly, you know, you got a guy like Dylan Cruz. It's still kind of mind-boggling to me that the guy's hitting .490 in the SEC.
Yeah. Maybe the top 2 picks in the Major League Draft coming up in June, right? So they are extremely talented. You know, it's going to be a really tough series, I think, for Auburn. But, you know, they are going to feel more confident. They are going to be playing at home, and I would expect there'll be a pretty good crowd here, too.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see what they can do. And I'm excited to see Skeens, you know, a guy that can throw 100 plus in inning 1 and inning, you know, 7 and 8 is pretty impressive. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, well, those 2 wins at South Carolina, followed by that, or, you know, the sweep, or not the sweep, but the series win against Mississippi State, puts Auburn back in the conversation now to be a good seed, a seed in the SEC baseball tournament, and puts them back in the regional conversation.
Yeah, they probably have to, you know, finish really well to host a regional or something like that. But, yeah, I think they're back in postseason right now. Going into South Carolina, I know one of the sites, I think it was D1 Baseball, I'm not sure, but had mentioned that Auburn was the first team out of postseason.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go up there and beat the number 1 RPI team in the country, that changes. And Auburn made I think it was a 10 or 12-point jump in RPI after that series, too. They're up in the I think they're up to 37, 36 last time I checked, which is another big boost for them. So, It's not done deal by any means, right? They've still got to win games and get to that 14 or maybe 13 win plateau to have an opportunity to play in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got a golden opportunity. You only got, I think, one midweek game left at home against. Well, excuse me, it'll technically be on a neutral field, but I mean, Hoover met against Samford that they'll play, and then they got Ole Miss. Who struggled, and then let me correct myself. I thought they only had one. They do have Jacksonville State left at home in Plainsman's Park. I thought everybody was kind of on the same deal, but then you got Mizzou at home. So Auburn's got a chance to finish pretty strong the last two SEC series if they can at least get one game from LSU.
That's right. That's exactly what they need to do. Try to get that first one, which obviously would be tough, and then see what they can do. And they're off this week for finals, so no midweek games this week, but. Yeah, we're coming down the stretch here, and once they get past LSU, they've got two series at Ole Miss, at home against Missouri. Those two teams are at the bottom of the SEC right now, so that is an opportunity. It doesn't mean Auburn's going to win those series, but it is an opportunity to get at least 4 wins possibly there, which would be huge for this team.
No question about it. And then quietly, Mickey Dean and Auburn softball, I know they won their series against South Carolina this weekend. They did win the series at Alabama 2-1, which I thought was a really good series win for them. They have quietly really kind of turned it around the last half of the conference season. And I know this is the last weekend before the SEC tournament, but Auburn's got a chance to potentially host here, I would think.
I do too. First time since 2017 if they can do that. They're 13-8, I think, in the SEC. I think that's in third place or tied for third place. And, they do need to win this series to maintain that top 4 spot and get into the couple buys there in the SEC tournament. But Mississippi State is I think, at the bottom or near the bottom of the SEC.
Correct.
Right now it's softball. So this is a series you would think Auburn could win at home going into the SEC tournament, possibly have a chance to sweep. We'll see. Manny Pinto has been terrific. Their starting pitcher. It's just, can they win a game when she's not, on the mound? So we'll see how that goes this weekend.
Yeah, we will. That would be huge for Auburn, no doubt about it. As you said, they've their schedule is light down the stretch. If they could get this sweep, they could get to 40 wins in the regular season as well. They're 24-3 at home. And then you head to Fayetteville for the SEC softball tournament, so you can increase your RPI there as well. So I think Auburn has got a really good chance for the first time, as Brian said, since 2017, to host a regional for the softball program, no doubt about it. But now here's the next piece of intrigue: the transfer portal. Brian, you've been telling us about this. Auburn's been welcoming some visitors. I know they've had some guys transfer out. Jeffrey Emba ends up at Purdue in the Big Ten. I saw Tavares Dawson ended up at Colorado, just like Jarquez Robinson from Alabama. Coach Prime keeps snagging guys. But where do we stand now with Auburn as far as we're talking about taketh away, but now giveth? Is the quarterback position, is there any clarity to it right now?
Yeah, I think we're getting close to that. Auburn now has 19 guys who have left since the end of the season,
right?
Which is a pretty big number, I think, but not necessarily surprising considering the coaching turnover. And, if you look at those 19 kids, I think Jeffrey Emba was the only one really that was going to be a significant contributor to the team this fall. So, I think it's just a lot of guys moving on, looking for opportunities to play somewhere else. But, they had Casey Thompson, the Nebraska quarterback, in for a visit.
That's right.
This past weekend. Peyton Thorne, the Michigan State quarterback. I think that's going to be I know that's going to be a top target for Auburn. They're working to get him in for a visit soon. I believe Michigan State's on the same schedule as Auburn as far as finals this week, so they'll have to work that in there. But I think he's a guy that Auburn is very, very interested in, and if things go well, that could be the guy that Auburn ends up landing here. So we'll see. I'm sure some other schools will probably try to get involved there too. That'll be really interesting. But I think it's a situation that could be similar to what Alabama was able to do with the quarterback from Notre Dame they were to bring in. So we'll see if Auburn can do the same.
I'm seeing Auburn's name come out with a lot of wide receivers as well,
yes,
as far as interest goes, I should say, in the portal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they've brought in 3 for visits so far that we know of. Jordan Hudson from TCU, I don't think is coming here. Montana Lemonius Craig, I think is how you say his name, from Colorado, was here late last week over the weekend, and Caleb Burton, Ohio State, who's got, I think, 3 or 4 years of eligibility left, was here this weekend too. And then Cody Epps, a BYU receiver, I think Auburn recently offered him, so we'll see if he comes in for a visit. So they would like to sign a couple of wide receivers as possible, and are certainly, recruiting several of them there. So that position, and then that edge rushing position, Jack linebacker now, they brought in, I think, two so far for visit.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe 3, but Jalen McLeod from Appalachian State is the guy that was in this weekend, a guy they like a lot, and a guy who could have a decision really, really soon.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, as you said, Auburn did offer Cody Epps from BYU, so they'll probably bring him in. Is there any buzz about how the visit with Casey Thompson went? Because he started at 2 Power 5 places. He started the majority of Coach Sark's first season in Austin, Texas, and then was the starter at Nebraska last year.
We heard it went well, but he didn't want to talk when he left, so we don't, we weren't able to speak to him directly. But I think things went well, and I think he's going to visit another school or two. So I don't think he's ready to make a decision yet. And I think from Auburn's perspective, they want to get the Peyton Thorne in from Michigan State and see how that goes before they make a move.
Mm-hmm. And do we know yet when Thorne will visit?
We do not.
Okay.
That's been a little bit quiet so far, but I think it'll be soon. He does have finals this week at Michigan State. I believe he's coming as a graduate transfer, so he's got to finish all that up first.
Well, the transfer portal's busy. The NFL draft is in the books. A few Auburn guys did hear their name in the draft.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it turned out pretty good for Auburn. It was 5 total guys drafted. Derek Hall got started at Seattle. I think Tank Bisbee is a really good fit at Jacksonville. They like to run the ball there, and they've already got a pretty good group of running backs, so I think he'll fit in well there. And then you had Colby, Wooden, and Ponders going to Green Bay. I felt like all along, I know Colby's not a really, really big guy. He's under 280, but I just feel like he's going to be a terrific rotational piece in the NFL for a number of years. I think he's going to have a terrific career. And then Owen Popo got Arizona in the 5th round, so that was terrific for him. And then I think 4 others have signed free agent contracts that I know of, or 5 others. So, that's a pretty good haul for Auburn.
No question. Well, Brian, we appreciate it. Great stuff. Thank you for the intel as far as the transfer portal. I know that's going to be a big part of what auburnsports.com is tracking, along with the baseball and softball, but let everybody know how to follow you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They can check me out at auburnsports.com. Follow me on Twitter at BMattAU, and we'll be getting together for our podcast rundown later today, and, of course, keeping a really close eye on the football portal and potentially the basketball portal. They had a visitor there this weekend, and Tyron Lawrence from Vanderbilt, a really good three-point shooter, shot 38% from 3 this past season, and he could be close to a decision.
Yeah, well, great stuff, Brian. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Let's get our final break in. Your tomorrow's headlines will wrap us up when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck on Zert Road near Beetle Lane. That one's coming in with injury and entrapment. Got eastbound on Governors west of the Parkway. That whole area has been snagged up. A wreck under there and a vehicle fire. That one's been a real problem. University westbound near Research Park's trying to wrap up. 565 eastbound near mile marker 7 was really slowing things down. And we had an injury wreck, Wall, Triana, and Blueberry. That's south of Nick Davis. And we had an overturned vehicle in Limestone County, Highway 99 near Dawson Dupree. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Make this the summer you finally get your own backyard pool from Superior Pool Construction. Family owned and operated, our team can have you swimming and splashing in no time. And now is the time to choose your custom fiberglass pool. Superior Pool Construction has a few spots still open for quick installation this summer. 80 different pools to choose from and 12 in beautiful Diamond Tech colors. All come with a 50-year manufacturer structural warranty. Call Superior Pool Construction now. 256-284-5953. 284-5953.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have the state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, for those Alabama fans that'll be rushing out to get a Bryce Young jersey, you can do so with the number 9 on it.
I'm not surprised. I mean, that's just been his numbers since high school.
Well, there was a little thing that had to get worked out.
Right.
Matt Corral had to give up the number 9.
Give it up. You don't ever play.
Because Matt Corral had the number 9 at Carolina. He is going to give up the number 9. So Bryce Young will wear the number 9 at Carolina. Matt Corral is going to go back to the number 2.
There you go.
Which was his former college number.
And he'll be lucky if he's even on the team. Because he's probably going to be the third quarterback, not even the second. They'll probably have a veteran. And Matt's a good prospect, but he probably needs to, hope he gets released so he can go to another team and develop.
You think Bryce had to give him anything to get the 9?
I don't know, man. Maybe he gave him a Rolex or something.
And then the Green Bay Packers.
Not a car or anything.
The Green Bay Packers have until 3 o'clock today to exercise their 5th-year option for Jordan Love.
Well, I mean, certainly you'd think they would do that. Since they sent Ron out of town.
Is that probably the biggest no-brainer of the day?
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, they're going to hide-strap the wagon at least for a couple of years. And hope they can keep that string going. It's quite a 30-year run. Brett Favre and are over 30 years. What, 35? I don't know. Brett Favre and Ron and then turn around and you got Jordan Love. What if he ends up being a great player? Then every quarterback needs to be picked by the Packers.
And Ronald Acuna Jr., all tests have come back. There is no structural damage, nothing wrong with the shoulder, just the Braves are calling a contusion.
Well, that's good.
In other words, he has a bruise.
Yeah, he's bruised up, but, Francisco Lindor or Pete Alonso need to be bruised up.
And something to think about, okay? Here's something to think about as we leave here today. And I bet you, I did not know this, okay? Bo Nix, you ready for this? Has 10,844 career passing yards.
Wow. Didn't even realize that.
He threw for 3,593 yards last year for Oregon.
Yeah.
If he replicates that, that would put him, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Number 9 all-time in career passing yards in college football history, passing Colt Brennan.
Crazy. I saw where his former coach went to see him with his son the other day.
Yeah.
The one that got railroaded.
Not Gus Malzahn.
Now, don't get me wrong. He did a terrible job. He had no feel for where he was at.
Brian Harsin.
But, his personal life, some of the Auburn fans tried to railroad him. But, don't get me he had his opportunity in 2 years. It was terrible. He couldn't recruit. He had no idea how to deal with the SEC. He needs to be back out on the West Coast, man.
But what do you think about that? Bo Nix could be top 10 all-time in college football history in passing yards.
Well, it's pretty crazy. He had some bright moments at Auburn. There just was a lack of consistency, and a lot of it I put on the coaching changes, and just I don't think schematically Gus Malzahn took advantage of his skills, nor even Harsin. I think, what did I always say? I always said that he should have been in a system like Mike Leach's, which is more of an air raid system that would take advantage of his mobility at times, but short, intermediate throws. I didn't feel like he needed to be running as much as he was, like you need to in a Gus Malzahn type offense. And then with Brian Harsin, I never knew what the hell they were trying to do. I guess they were trying to run the football and be physical, but I never really thought they had an identity offensively. So, but I thought Bo made a good move going back for another year and a fifth year. Gives him a chance to further establish himself on NFL radars.
Is he part of the NFL draft next year? Is Bo Nix's
if he puts up 3,500 yards and Oregon wins some games, anything's possible. Will Levis got drafted in the second round, and he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat half the time.
Well, we'll talk Will Levis. We'll talk Stetson Bennett tomorrow on the show. Make sure you join us.
And remember who the third pick in the draft was. He aims the ball.
We'll talk about all
Aims
that.
it.
Plenty of conversation for our Wednesday show coming up tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
In the Army National Guard, soldiers serve part-time and close to home.
My community means everything to me.